Hey everybody, I got all the grading done, so I thought I would do a video to go over some of the issues that I found so that we don't repeat them for the subsequent weeks. For the case study, the one thing I noticed is some of you put it into bulletized form. Make sure that you're writing it almost like an informal paper, because this is supposed to be a writing exercise, and it also lends itself to citing and referencing your sources appropriately. Some of you still are confused about the in-text citation and reference, when to use it, when not to use it, as well as how to format. So what I would suggest that you do is review the APA resources that are located in program resources. Let me go to that section. Okay, so if you go to the APA resources right here, there are several different ways. I would say look at your references and citation page. This shows you different ways of formatting different references. So if you have a book with one author, a book with two authors, a book with the title with a colon, if you pull something up from the internet, this shows you how to reference or format your references and citations. And if you'll notice, some of you also had this confused as well. Some of you were indenting the first line and not indenting the second line. The first line should be flush to the left margin, and your second line should be indented by 5 spaces. So make sure you know that. Spelling and grammar were an issue. What I would suggest if you're having problems with spelling and grammar is to write you're already writing your paper in Word anyway, so make sure that you're doing a spelling and grammar check. And if you're unsure on how to do that, let me just bring this over. So if I'm going to spell check this paper, I would hit review, spelling and grammar over here, click on that, and then it will go through and check for spelling errors and grammar errors, and as they pop up, it will ask you if you want to change it or if you want to ignore it. Most of the times you want to change it, but sometimes spelling and grammar check is not correct because it doesn't actually know what you're trying to say or do, and so you have to bring in your own knowledge as far as how to write into the situation, whether you want to accept the change or ignore the change. Okay, so let's go on to discussions for week 1. Everybody did pretty good with thoroughly answering the questions. I appreciate that. What I would say is that you can, as I said before, you can answer the question either all in one post, or you can break it up into 2 posts. A couple of you have broken it up even further into 3 posts. I would prefer that you not do that. Put it into 2 posts. If you do choose to do it in 3 posts, make sure that you're posting to 2 fellow students so you get credit for that. I put all my comments within the grading rubric, so make sure you look at that and take those to heart, please. Your discussion. One of the problems we had, let me go ahead and go to the discussion rubric so we can go over that a little bit. One of the things that happened was some of you did not post the minimum number of posts. Rubrics. Discussion rubric. Okay, so for the relevance to the topic, I want to see that you have answered the questions thoroughly. If I've asked any questions of you, that you responded to those questions. Usually when I ask a question, I just want further information on the subject to get you full points. Qualitative responses to at least 2 other classmates. I'm going to look at were your appropriates thoughtful, were they reflective, respectful, and did they contain at least 100 words. So make sure that all your posts are 100 words. make sure that you're checking, back to the relevance on the topic, make sure you're checking your post after your initial post to make sure that I haven't responded or somebody else hasn't responded to your post so that you can answer back. Again, APA, if you do not understand when to put your in-text citation or reference in, please review the APA resources. If you don't understand it after that, contact me and I'll try to help you understand a little bit better. And again, make sure you know how to format that. This is going to be important as well for your internet research paper. Spelling and grammar. If you are unsure on how to write your post in a Word document and then copy and paste it into the discussion thread, I have a tutorial video in the program resources on how to do that. Most everybody seems pretty savvy with Word, but I have this just in case, so you can how to write your discussion in Word, and then conduct a spelling grammar check, making the changes that you need to make, and then copying the writing from Word and posting it into your discussion thread. And make sure that the whole reason for this discussion is that if we were in a physical classroom and we were discussing a topic, I might ask you a question and you'd respond, and somebody else would say, well, I agree with that, or I don't disagree, or I disagree with that, and tell why. In this case, we don't have that physical classroom, so our discussion post is our chance to interact with each other and tell our views. So you can agree with somebody, you can disagree, as long as you do it respectfully, and tell them why you agree or disagree. So make sure that you're posting to fellow classmates and just not responding to just my posts to further the discussion, which is what is meant from this. Okay, I think that is it. Let me go back to the rubric to make sure I covered everything. Okay, so spelling and grammar, and then make sure that you're posting the required number of posts. There should be 4 separate posts on 3 separate days. If you're having problems with that, please let me know. Alright, have a great day.